After impacting the Philippines, Kalmaegi, also known as Tino, has now made landfall in Vietnam. I'm meteorologist Robert Spett. I always do my best to keep you informed and updated on what's happening out here in the Western Pacific. This update, we're going to talk specifically on Tino, located here just off the coast of Vietnam, but sandwiched in the middle of Tino and a storm system towards the east is the Philippines. And I'm going to have a separate video. Check out here on our Western Pacific Weather channel or on Facebook as well for more information on that. But let's focus on our friends here in Vietnam with this storm because it's a very real and powerful storm system and has made landfall. Storm surge being reported up and down these coastal areas here. And, you know, we're also been looking at some fairly heavy rainfall, which is also going to be a big issue. I mean, just look at the radar. Plenty of moisture coming on shore, and you can see it kind of picks up a little bit and just slightly inland. This is actually really indicative of the mountains just about, 30 kilometers away from the coast. And that helps for us that our graphic lifting creates that increased risk of heavy rain and, yes, flooding is going to be reported here, especially areas just south of Da Nang in that right front quadrant. Big wind field still on this storm system too, by the way. You see just prior to landfall, JTWC had winds sustained in the center about 110 knots. Yeah, and you can see that outer threshold though, standing well out, that area in the red, that is the tropical storm strength winds, well away from the core. But inside that inner core is where we did have about major hurricane equivalent status here, about Cat 3 to Cat 4, and you can just see that tight inner core right in there. So wherever this came on shore, this is where you see that highest risk of storm surge, severe flooding here for our friends along the coast. And if you are being impacted by this, please do share. Quai Non, that is the spot that definitely hardest hit in the right front quadrant. I mean, currently as I'm making this video, already at the peak of it. But, it's not just going to be a Vietnam problem. As this moves further towards the west, northern areas of Cambodia, southern areas of Laos, also kind of getting in the mix here. And it's going to be more of a heavy rainfall issue for our friends a little bit further inland, because that wind field is going to fall apart a bit as it just starts to move over the mountains here. But if we overlay the rain instead, look at that. Big change in the story here for northern Cambodia, southern Laos, basically in the kind of corner area here. What's it called? I heard it does have a name. Heavy precipitation. I mean, it is just going to be a major flood threat for our friends out there, and definitely an ongoing significant impactor here for central areas of Vietnam. So winds coming on shore, 100 knots, about 175 to 180 kilometers per hour. Heavy rain, still an additional 200 to 300 millimeters in the forecast. And then as it tracks towards the west, southern Laos, northern Cambodia, northern areas of Thailand, also going to be looking at a pretty serious flood threat here, as we can see what our rainfall accumulation as it jets off towards the west. And I know all the while as I'm talking here, you're probably keying in on what's happening further towards the east, out across the Philippine Sea. And like I said, I have a separate video talking about what's going on there, because pretty serious stuff as we watch this next storm system develop behind Tino, and could be a big impactor for our friends in the Philippines. In fact, just a quick little tease here, this is going to go out to Sunday night. Yeah, GFS and ECMWF still showing a powerful typhoon off of the east coast of the Philippines, with guidance continuing to align, as well as multiple agencies with a landfall around Aurora or Isabella here as a strong typhoon, probably a super typhoon at that point. And look at this, even a little shift to the track in the south could bring places like Casiguran. Well, they're already going to be into the fold here, but a lot of these, just Bicol region, I should say, a little bit further towards the south brings you into the typhoon strength winds. So very important storm to watch as we continue to see it develop out here. But for now, this update specifically on Kalmaegi, also known as Tino in the Philippines, now making landfall, bringing some damaging conditions here to Vietnam. So if you were impacted by Tino, just spare a thought for our friends here a little bit further towards the west. As always, though, thanks for stopping by, friends. And like I said, I'll have a separate video on what's going on further towards the east.